You know, we have become so demoralized and propagandized as a society that when we get some kind of legislative win, we actually take it as a win when nothing could be further from the truth. Somebody gave this to me. It says Nevada court removes federal legal loophole involving civil asset forfeiture. And they're acting like this is a big win, but they're really not talking about what they need to be talking about. And that's the fact that we have road pirates that are sanctioned to seize property from people that in some cases, like we're going to see with Stephen Lara, they know they're innocent. They know they're an open book. They know these people aren't drug dealers, and yet they're going to seize massive amounts of money from them anyway. It says property rights advocates received a win today as Washoe County judge ruled against the use of a federal loophole for Nevada law enforcement. Now, we're going to get back to this terminology in a second, which is on its face, top to bottom, as evil and disgusting as you can possibly get. The ruling states that Nevada law enforcement can't use a federal program to bypass existing state laws enacted to protect property owners. So you mean to tell me that the federal government that is supposed to also be here to protect and serve the property rights and just the regular rights of Americans have instituted a loophole where you can circumvent their rights, go around the back door, and then take their rights away? And this is the land of the free, home of the brave? We're going to get back to this in a second, but I want to refresh your memory as to what we're actually talking about here. This right here is Stephen Lara. He was making his way from Texas to visit his daughters in California. He had his life savings in his rental car. This guy is a retired combat Marine vet who encounters Marine vets during this traffic stop who are wearing uniforms, and he gets his money stolen from them. They can call it civil asset forfeiture. They can say seized. They can use whatever euphemism they want to use, but it's actually, he became the victim of roadside piracy through the Nevada Highway Patrol. Watch some of this.
I just wanted to tell you, Officer Brown, I mean, you're taking money out of my kid's mouths.
Sorry.
Or you're taking food out of my kid's mouth.
Like I said, we believe right now that this is drug proceeds, illicit currency.
Well, I'm going to prove to you that it's not.
Perfect.
The driver of this vehicle was following that way, and the semi-truck too closely, less than a second following distance. Was driving under the speed limit.
Driving under the speed limit, which I thought was really odd. You're going to see a lot of odd things that the Nevada Highway Patrol observe. He's going under the speed limit. That's odd. He has a large amount of cash. That's odd. He has bank receipts for all of his cash. That's odd. They turn that which is odd, which is your perfect right to do, into a crime. Not so that they can protect and serve you, but so that they can serve themselves by seizing your cash.
Make sure everything's okay.
Now watch how snaky this cop is when he talks to Stephen Lara.
I'm doing great. Hey, the reason I'm stopping you, we have a special enforcement campaign going on. We're trying to educate drivers about violations they may not realize they're committing, but we're seeing a big increase in crashes out here. First, applaud you on your driving. You drive great. You're driving really slow. It appears that you're trying to drive safely under the speed limit. I appreciate that. I just want to talk about your following distance, especially around commercial vehicles.
If you look at the original dash cam video, there is no unsafe driving. He was not too close to that commercial vehicle. So this cop comes alongside the vehicle, acts like he's super friendly, but we got to remember, friendly tyranny is still tyranny.
You a fighter? Am I a fighter? Yeah, you got a tap out shirt on. Well, I've got a lot of training. I'm a retired Marine.
What do your daughters do, man?
Ever been in trouble with law enforcement before?
When did you leave? What part of Texas are you thinking you're buying a house in? What were you doing for work up there?
One of the best things that you can do when you're in the presence of a law enforcement official is to shut the front door. We'll get back to this roadside piracy operation in a second, but let's get back to this article. This stems from a 2021 case where Nevada Highway Patrol stole retired Marine Stephen Lara's life savings during a traffic stop. Without any evidence of a crime or even a charge being brought against Lara, NHP gave his money to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, which has less strict forfeiture protections than Nevada laws. So the men in the Nevada Highway Patrol, and that's all they are, is men. They're men like you and I. They chose this profession and they made a conscious choice to steal innocent Stephen Lara's money, and they go to bed at night with all their money in their bank account and in their pockets. Stephen Lara gets left high and dry, but we'll get back to that in a second. The NHP attempted to argue that the federal program was a loophole that officers could utilize to seize property under state law, then process it federally. So the NHP, the Nevada Highway Patrol, who's supposed to be all about your safety, right, is saying, no, there's a workaround around Stephen Lara's freedom and your freedom. The federal government has given us a loophole. Let's be real clear about what a loophole is. Let's use a metaphor. It's like a portal. It's like you can escape from one land to go to another land so that you can do things that you can do in the second land that you couldn't do in the first land. Let me give you some examples. The gun show loophole. Basically, what you're trying to do is escape regulations from the government so that you can go to the land of freedom and do the thing that you have the perfect right to do anyway. The Nevada Highway Patrol in this case is trying to use the portal or the loophole to escape the land of freedom and the constraints of the Fourth Amendment right to be secure in your persons, houses, papers, and effects, and go to the land of tyranny so that they can do things under federal law using that loophole to take advantage of and economically terrorize people like Stephen Lara. So getting back to this article, the NHP argued that, hey, under this federal program, under the laws of tyranny, we can take a man's individual rights away, and we're okay to do that. The department would then receive up to 80% as a kickback from the proceeds, according to the release. In its rejection, the court found that no such loophole exists under Nevada law. So basically, these cops are working against Americans while they say they're working for Americans to keep them safe on the nation's highways. So let's get back to this roadside piracy operation.
Hey, while I'm working on this, let me ask you something, man. This is going to sound kind of weird. Part of my job out here is I do what's called highway interdiction. I look for people that are smuggling contraband through our state, across the country, weapons, humans, drugs, illicit currency, things like that. Anything in the vehicle I should be aware of? Okay. No firearms? No explosives? Okay. Are there any drugs in the vehicle? Cocaine?
I don't do drugs.
Yeah, I gotta ask all these silly questions, right?
Really, let me ask a silly question. Is this America, or have I somehow slipped into communist China or North Korea, officer? Am I required to answer these questions? You said my driving was good. Why am I here? Why did you have me step out of the car? I got a lot of questions for you. As a matter of fact, I've learned the law and I know my rights, and then reach up to your visor and grab your 5A cop card or your trifold and then tell the cop, hey, right now I'm invoking my right to remain silent. Any other question you might have, you can talk to my lawyer about it. And I don't care what anybody else says, this is a powerful tool that you can use anywhere at any time. Grab a bunch of them for yourself. The link is in the description. Is this the land of the free, home of the brave, or is this the land of the fee, home of the slave? Are you out for my best interests, or are you just trying to increase the coffers of the state?
Okay. Any large amounts of United States currency in the vehicle? Okay. What's a large amount of U.S. currency to you?
Look how honest Stephen Lara is being here.
Okay. So there's over 10,000 in there? Okay. How much money you got in there? Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Would you give me...
Notice this cop's rubbing his hands as he's talking about... Look at this. The cop is rubbing his hands together. Oh, wait a second. You've got money in your vehicle, you say? I don't really care about your rights. I mean, you can travel your own path, but we're going to take that money. Oh, life savings, you say? I don't care. I've got a federal loophole. And then we're going to give the DEA money, and they're going to give us 80% of that back as a kickback so that we can get better cruisers and maybe even a promotion and a pay increase as he rubs his hands together.
10,000 in there? Okay. How much money you got in there? Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Would you give me permission to search your vehicle today? That's okay with you? Okay, perfect.
Now, I just got something to say to Stephen Lara. You say you fought for our freedoms, and then you come over here, back to the land of the free, home of the brave, and give up your freedoms that easily? What about all the people who actually died for what they thought was for your freedoms?
I didn't want to come across as being non-cooperative or combative.
And most people are like this, and guess what the cops do? Most people want to go along to get along. Most people don't want to interfere with the cops' job. Hey, you're just doing your job. I know you don't make the laws. You're just here to enforce them. I'm not here to give you a hard time. My life's an open book. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Cops know that most people are like this, and they exploit that. They take advantage of it, and they use manipulative tactics to get what they really want.
So I did what I felt was right, and I was very honest, very forthcoming. I was also very respectful, and I just wanted to make their job as easy as possible so that I could be on my way to spend time with my children.
And again, most people are like that, and the cops know that. The cops are trained to know that. They can read people. They're trained to read people. But you know what they really are trained to do? They're trained to deceive you. They're trained to exact tyranny against you. They're trained to view you as a suspect, guilty until you prove yourself innocent, instead of the way it's supposed to be, innocent until proven guilty. Now the cop who pulled Stephen over is calling the drug enforcement agent.
So far I'm still searching a car, but big bundle of money, it says probably at least 100,000. I think you're a good guy.
I'm a good guy.
So how much cash is that?
About 100.
I think you're a good guy, but you know what? We kind of like taking money from good guys. You make it really easy for us. You didn't even put up a fight. You didn't make us take out the cuffs. You didn't make us stuff you in the back or fingerprint you. I'll tell you what, we're going to give you a special today. We'll let you drive away, but we're taking all of your life savings.
$100 grand. So, as you know, right, I'm a vet, he's a vet, you're a vet.
That makes it even worse. I'm a vet, he's a vet, he's a vet, you're a vet. Hey, we're all fellow vets. Guess what I'm going to do to you, fellow vet? I'm going to stab you in the back right here, right now.
Not illegal to carry currency, have currency. It does, though, make us ask some questions on why someone has 100,000. I can understand why you don't trust banks, especially in this day and age right now.
I have nothing to hide from you.
I appreciate that. Give me a few seconds. Can I make a couple phone calls, right?
Are you on your way out here?
What are your thoughts, Chris?
I kind of leaning more towards it's odd, but
So now we got more questions for Stephen.
So why the distrust for the banking system?
I just don't trust him.
Yeah.
That's just my reasoning. It's my personal thing.
Oh, I'm not trying to convince you one way or the other. It's just it's not usual. What are your
It's not usual. It's not typical. It's a little odd. It's not illegal. We're not saying you did anything wrong, but even in the light of the fact that you haven't done anything wrong, we're still going to take your cash from you.
your thoughts, Chris?
I kind of leaning more towards it's odd, but
It's odd, but it's not packaged
it's
like
not.
normal.
No, and he's answering the questions. There's receipts here, and
I would like to put the dog on the currency, man.
Okay.
So they get the dog out and they put his money in the Ziploc bag and put it about 40 yards from his vehicle. The dog looks like it false alerts, and then it gives the cops a justification to take Stephen's life savings.
Positive alert.
We'll go forward with it.
Okay.
What we're going to do, I believe there's drug proceeds, dog alerted to it.
Drug proceeds?
Yeah.
Look how surprised Stephen Lara is. Guy's honest, making an honest living, trying to make his way across the land of the free, thinks that he's protected, thinks that the cops keep him safe, has been propagandized into believe that the authorities are really looking out for our best interests, and now the rug pull.
It's very common, sir. We get people that are trafficking large quantities of marijuana from Northern California to all states east.
Yeah, it's very common, sir. Guess what else is very common? And this is common knowledge. Most banknotes, 70 to 100% of banknotes have some kind of drug residue on them. Just do a quick Google search. This right here is just a Google search. This right here is from CNN. Even the NIH did an extensive study on the exchange of illicit you-know-what for money by drug dealers. They say it's an everyday occurrence. And check this out. They go through the formulation on how they did it, but I want to draw your attention to this right here. Cocaine was identified quantitatively by full scan and quantitated by selected ion monitoring. Then it says cocaine was present in 79% of the currency samples analyzed in amounts above 0.1 micrograms and in 54% of the currency in amounts above 1.0 micrograms. Contamination was widespread and was found in currency from all sites examined. And then it talks about the amount that was detected on a single dollar bill. And then they say these results indicated that contamination of currency is widespread throughout the United States. In some cases, as much as 99% of all currency, all banknotes are contaminated, which makes running the drug dog bogus on its face and just a further justification that these cops need to seize more innocent people's assets.
Even from Reno.
Sir, I can tell you right now,
I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen, okay? We're going to seize it today, but that doesn't mean we're the final judgment on it.
Look at his face. Look at his face. You know, on the one hand, I guess if this is what it's going to take to get people who are thin blue line supporters, or what we would call bootlickers, to come over to the land of reality and understand who is actually operating against the interests of Americans, I guess so be it.
It's going to go through the DEA, okay? So the DEA will contact you, and the DEA will provide you with a means to fight it. You're going to have to provide your pay stubs. You're going to have to provide your other receipts and stuff like that.
He already had all that. He was completely forthright. He's a combat vet. They say they're combat vets. He had all the receipts. You're not going to have the receipts. He was actually able to prove with banking receipts where he got the money, and they still took it from him. This would be the ideal case to keep a road pirate from committing his roadside piracy operation, and yet this didn't stop them at all. What do you think they're going to do to you?
Okay.
just want to let you know, I know you're just doing your job. That money I worked really hard for.
Yeah, I know you're just doing your job, but your job is evil. And you work for a corrupt organization that looks no different from an organized crime ring.
Money that I have in my jacket is only $2. I have money to pay for my kids, my bills, my hotel. We're going to get that car back to Texas. So,
This is pathetic. This is our fellow American begging law enforcement agents who are supposed to be protecting and serving, begging them not to take his life savings and leave him high and dry. He had to call his brother, who had to wire him $1,000 so he could proceed to California to visit his daughters. I'm going to be stuck here unless somebody sends me money. And then they give him a slip of paper saying, here's a receipt for the money that we took from you.
this is all I get here?
That's what you get, yes, sir. You're going to get noticed in the mail as well at that address.
And that's it. So roadside piracy operation complete against a fellow American. And if they're going to do that to this guy who had all of the documentation and proof for why he had that money, what do you think they're going to do to you? They ended up giving Stephen Lara his money back 7 months later after he had to file a lawsuit and get the Institute for Justice involved. And people's brains have been so pickled by propaganda that they think this right here is actually good news when there's still federal loopholes allowing local law enforcement agents to take your stuff with no probable cause. I don't understand this. So maybe somebody can explain it to me in the comment section below. Let's face it, during any traffic stop, there's a sense in which you should absolutely not be like Stephen Lara. Do not trust the cops. They are not there to help you, and reserve all your rights. Grab your 5A cop card or your trifold. The link is in the description for you. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, grab a shirt, become a channel member. But understand, you do have rights, and there is a roving band of tyrants who wants to take those rights away. Stand for your rights. Flex your rights. If you don't, you will lose them.